Hey guys, we are at episode 11 of All Out, and the message we have in this episode was there's nothing wrong with being small. That was the overall message that I got from this episode. And we got more info on the three characters that were introduced late into last week's episode into this episode. And they go by the names of Zamba Ryojin and the Kirishima twins, Kokuto and Sekito. And we come to find out, these are the three guys, from what I can see in this episode, is three players from Ryoan's rugby team that, Jinko has to keep a close eye on if they are in hopes of winning Hanazono, because this is a school that has been winning championships for at least 15 years straight. And, the fact that they have a flanker who is the number one in Kanagawa, Sekito. So, I did mention last week how Zamba looked very dangerous, but we got a little more into his character this week. And he seems like, while he is the ideal rugby player, he has the rugby IQ, he has a golden heart. He seems to be a delicate, almost a delicate person, because he comes in apologizing to the coach because he was eating so much of the flavored shaved ice, he ended up getting a stomach ache. So he seems like the type of guy that likes to eat, and he's a goodwill, a good person at the end of the day, but he's also a true man of his word when it comes to rugby, and he's a very good player. Now, from what we saw in this episode, he was wearing the jersey number 9, and as Raito was explaining, that position belongs to a person who plays in the position of a scrum half. Now, the similarities between a scrum half and a flanker is that the player who plays in that position is usually a small person, like Raito or Gion, or also Sekito. So to see where Zamba, who they explain is like a 192 centimeter tall person, or if you translate that into feet and inches, that's like 6'2", it's very strange to see that he's playing in that position. And as Raito was explaining, scrum halves are basically like the bridge between the big forwards and the ball carrying backs. And they're the ones, and due to their play, they're the ones who, the way they play is they pass the ball sideways. And we also come to find out that in rugby, the ball is always passed backwards. It's never passed forwards. And they don't go into further explaining anything other than that. So the fact that Zenba, the way he plays is almost like that of a forward. And it even goes to further say that Raito said that he's like 2 Sekizans. So he's like the 9th forward on Ryoan's rugby team, because Sekizan is a forward. And because he's a forward, that makes him an offensive player. So for him to be playing in this position of a scrum half, but the way he plays, it makes him more of a forward player. And I guess it works with their team dynamics. And, this is a character we should be looking out for, as well as the Kirishima twins, as both of them are flankers. It get into the episode where Gion and Raito went into, I guess, a sportswear shop. And they were talking about, Raito playing the game and how is he so comfortable with his size. Gion admires that he's so comfortable with his size. And he made a valuable point and a quote that he said he heard from a pretty well-known player. And he says that small people have tons of space. Now, you could probably take it any way you want, but from my understanding is that, even though we're small in stature, because I am a small person, we have a lot of things to view. And if we know how to use our size to our advantage, a lot more things comes easier to us. Not to say that there aren't times where, some things are difficult, reaching for that cup on the second shelf. You might have to use, a step ladder. But once you become more accepting of your size, regardless if you're big or small, you become more sure of yourself. You become more comfortable with yourself. And that was why I was getting out the message that Raito was telling Gion. And even Gion says that, he always admired Raito for, accepting himself for being such a small person. Of course, they end up encountering the Kirishima twins. We come to find out that Sekito is actually an otaku. And he instantly becomes friends with Gion because Gion watches the same show that he watches. And we have where Gion admits to Sekito, saying that I look up to you because you are the number one flanker, and I hope that you can teach me what it means to be a flanker. I like how Sekito kind of said that a flanker is a person who's like an all-arounder in rugby. They play both the defense and the offense, and we clearly saw that when we saw him playing last week. Sorry. So for him to want to be able to teach Gion how to, fit the position and what it means to be a flanker, I found that to be very admiring. So the way he was teaching Gion was like they were going on the jungle gym. They were on the jungle gym, and we see where, due to Sekito's size, he was just going all around. No matter how close, Gion could get this close, and somehow Sekito invades that. And then he goes further to say, okay, we're going to go play tag. And again, he demonstrates the skills that he got playing in that position for how much years he's been on the team. We also come to find out that he and Gion are kind of similar in the sense that they both started in high school. And the fact that Sekito started because his younger but bigger brother, Kokuto, was on the rugby team. So he was never really good as he is right now, because when they showed the flashback in the episode, how he was always puking and crying because he just couldn't, match up to the pace of the players. And the fact that he was being made fun of because he was an otaku. But what Kokuto found out, because he also challenged Gion to tell Gion, come at me like as if you had the ball and try to, tackle him. And the only thing he will be doing is moving sideways. And of course, Gion continuously fails at it. But he told the difference between Sekito and Gion. The difference was that Gion is the type of person that's not afraid of big people. He's not afraid of moving forward towards a bigger person. That was the difference between him and Sekito, despite both of them, never giving up, and the fact that they both started in high school. And what I really like about the ending of the episode was where Gion says, I hope that we can play against you, and the team that I come from is Jinko. And in a sense, they kind of formed not only like a friendship, the beginning of a friendship, but also now they have rivals. And it's like a good rivalry is going to happen between these two schools. So I cannot wait to see when Jinko comes to a certain stage where they're strong enough to go against this school. Because eventually they will be going against Ryoin. That's without a doubt. They are going to go against them. But I cannot wait till they are strong enough and we can see where, Gion, who's definitely going to be playing the position of flanker, and then he's going against Sekito. How well will he do against Sekito? Because what we saw today was just like basically the prerequisite for future matchups between these two schools. So we'll see the growth of Gion from now on, as he now is going to become a flanker player. So it was a good episode. The message was, with the body size, there's nothing wrong with your body size. There's nothing wrong with being small. So if you guys saw this week's episode of All Out, episode 11, do drop a comment down below on how you felt about this week's episode. What was your most favorite part of this week's episode? Out of the 3 new characters that was introduced, which one is your most favorite? And, if you want to give a reason why, you can also say that as well. The links are in the description box, as always. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends Podcast. And I will see you guys later. Bye!